while you were in Australia, since you started taking the Excel, something changed. Tell us about that experience.
I have a bad shoulder from wear and tear.
Yeah.
So I was taking an injection every 3 months to play each tournament.
Yeah.
And since I started taking the Omega, I haven't took the injection since. I'm feeling a big difference within my body.
Yeah.
It's something I have to take. It becomes a part of me now.
Yeah.
So I take it every day. Who wants to deal with pain? Now I don't have to because of Omega XL.
Hi, what's up, TNT? This is Wayne Johnson out of Brooklyn, New York. I always wanted to do something back home, and we're going to be doing our gospel segment on Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM. Listen what I want you to do. Spread the word. Spread the word, TNT.
Salvation, full and free. Salvation is for everybody.
Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM. Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world. The Street 919FM.com. News from the Street 919FM.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 12 o'clock news on the Street 919 FM and online Facebook and YouTube. In the headlines, WASA says it is committed to improving water supplies across the country. A growing number of children testing positive for COVID-19 has been reported. Tuta slams government's back-to-school plan, and internationally rescue efforts begin after Hurricane Ida hits the U.S. And now the news in detail. The Water and Sewage Authority says it is committed to improving water supplies across the island. WASA says it has faced a number of challenges within recent times with supplying water to various parts of the country. However, that will change. WASA's acting CEO Sherland Shepard says recent comments and complaints via social media have been noted. He stated that the harsh dry seasons in 2019 and 2020 resulted in reservoirs not being filled to what was accustomed.
That led to the low reservoir levels. This resulted in the reduced production in several of our major water facilities by about 50%.
In other news, the Carnival Runner, one of the ferries that transport passengers between San Fernando and Port of Spain, has taken in water at the San Fernando port. Officials from the Infrastructure Development Company Limited say the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service and the Port of Spain Regional Corporation are working towards stabilizing the vessel. NETCO also noted that professional divers are on site to carry out an underwater investigation to determine the cause of the incident. The company stressed that the Carnival Runner had not been operational at the time of the incident. It has also given assurances that 2 vessels are being used on the Port of Spain to San Fernando route, servicing the needs of the traveling public safely and reliably. Principal Medical Officer Dr. Miriam Abdul-Richards has stated that there is a growing number of children testing positive for COVID-19. She called the situation concerning and noted that the Health Ministry is monitoring the frightening situation.
There are several trends that are very concerning, one of which would be the increasing number of children that are being hospitalized for COVID-19.
Mrs. Abdul-Richards gave the figures of children that are currently at hospital with the virus.
We can confirm that there are 10 children, and of course we would know what our legal definition of children would be in terms of ages, who are presently in the parallel healthcare system. And as I indicated earlier, they are receiving different levels of care. 8 out of the 10 children are requiring ward level care, while 1 child requires high dependency unit level care, and one child requires intensive care.
In more news, the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association is describing government's plan to physically reopen schools for only fully vaccinated 4th, 5th and 6th form pupils from October 1st as a logistical nightmare. TUTA's second Vice President Curla Robertson explains why the plan is a nightmare, saying that secondary school teachers will have to teach forms 4 to 6 face-to-face at schools and still having to carry the load of teaching forms 1 to 3 online, and that is going to be problematic. Robertson said the association is looking forward to discussions with the Ministry of Education as it irons out how the arrangement will work. On Saturday, during a media conference, it was announced that fully vaccinated students, forms 4 to 6, will be allowed to resume physical classes from October 1st. Unvaccinated students will continue to have their classes online. Education Minister Dr. Nayan Gasbidoli on whether teachers who are returning to physical classes in October will also have to be fully vaccinated said government's policy will be fully explained in the coming week on the reopening of schools. Internationally now, Hurricane Ida battered the southern U.S. state of Louisiana and plunged New Orleans into darkness on Sunday, killing at least one person. We have more on this report.
They were warned to prepare, but how do you prepare for this? Water pouring through this home, and all the owner can do is helplessly watch a live feed on camera. Hurricane Ida has well and truly arrived now, bringing 240-kilometre-an-hour winds and chaos to Louisiana.
The storm is a life-threatening storm.
The big one hits the Big Easy. 16 years to the day since Katrina arrived in New Orleans, killing more than 1,800 people and causing billions of dollars worth of damage. Now a storm that hit land with even more power. To give an idea, that is a picnic table between those poles, the water just pouring over the top. Up in the skies, this flight taking us into the eye of the storm. It is calm up there, but what a difference on the ground. Hurricane Ida's path is taking her around the western side of New Orleans, which means this city is being hit by the winds from the eastern side of the storm, and that is not a place you want to be in the midst of a Category 4 hurricane, because those eastern winds tend to be stronger, they tend to be more powerful and cause much more devastation, and the risks here are huge. Everything from debris flying through the air to fences coming loose and hitting people to downed power lines, and that's before we even get onto the subject of the water, the flooding from the rain and those storm surges. Which is what we saw with Hurricane Katrina, where 80% of this city ended up submerged. New Orleans told to evacuate in case this happened again. In central areas, it was voluntary.
Governor Edwards, an old friend, has characterized it as one of the strongest hurricanes, the strongest in Louisiana history since 1850. And its devastation is likely to be immense. We shouldn't kid ourselves.
And that was the 12 o'clock news on the street, 919 FM, and online Facebook and YouTube. Recapping the headlines, WASA says it is committed to improving water supplies across the island. A growing number of children testing positive for COVID-19 has been reported. TUTA slams government's back-to-school plan, and internationally rescue efforts begin after Hurricane Ida hits the U.S. Stay tuned to the Street 919 FM. The 5 minutes Playway segment comes up at 12:15. I am Vanessa Thomas. To enjoy your afternoon.
News from the street. 919fm.com.